Hi, this is Blasiro Sisuhian of BSed English 3A, and today I will be talking about my favorite among the selections under American culture. That is A Respectable Woman by Kate Chopin. The writer of the story is Kate Chopin. She was born in 1850 and died in 1904. She is an American writer who is best known for her stories about the inner lives of sensitive, daring women. She introduced powerful female characters to the American literacy world. Her novels and short stories are read today in countries around the world, and she is widely recognized as one of America's essential authors. And one of her works is my favorite, A Respectable Woman. This story is about Mrs. Baroda, a wealthy woman living happily with her caring husband. Her husband invites his old college friend to stay with them in their plantation, but despite being certain that she will not like the man, she actually grew feelings for him, which confused her. But ultimately, she was able to control herself. She stopped herself from the desire to have an affair with him because she knows that it is wrong, and so she was able to succeed in it. That was the summary, but the plot goes like this. Mrs. Baroda learns about her husband Gaston has invited his old friend Governel to come and stay with them on their plantation. She had been looking forward to some time with Gaston on their own. When Governel arrives, she is disappointed to find him reserved and rather uninteresting, nothing like the way her husband had described him. When she confronts her husband about their guests, she learns that Governel plans to stay with them for another week. So she tells Gaston that she's going to leave them alone and go and stay with her aunt until their guest has left. She's never felt so confused and knows that she needs to get away from home. As she sits outside on a bench, Governel appears, smoking a cigar. Gaston has sent him out with a white scarf for her to wear around her neck. Mrs. Baroda takes the scarf from Governel but doesn't put it on. He joins her on the bench and quotes poetry to the night. Mrs. Baroda realizes that his earlier reserve was down to his varying moods, and he is now clearly in a talkative mood. He tells her about his college days with her husband and starts to get philosophical about life. Mrs. Baroda feels drawn to him, wanting to reach out and touch his face and whisper against him in ways that she would have done so had she not been a respectable woman. But because she's married and has her reputation to uphold, she finds herself moving away from him instead. As soon as she can do so with politeness, she makes her excuses and leaves Governel alone on the bench. Although she wishes to tell Gaston about her strange feelings towards Governel, she doesn't, knowing it would not be sensible for a respectable woman to share such thoughts with her husband. The next morning, her husband wakes to discover she has already left the house to travel into the city. She doesn't come back home until Governel has left. Gaston suggests that Governel visit them again the following summer, but Mrs. Baroda strongly opposes such a suggestion. However, before the end of the year, she goes back on this and proposes that Gaston invite Governel to stay with them again. Much for her husband's delight, Gaston assumes that his wife has overcome her dislike for Governel and is overjoyed and surprised. The story ends with Mrs. Baroda kissing her husband and declaring, "I have overcome everything. You will see, this time I shall be very nice to him." So that's how the story goes. Now the themes of this story, which can easily be noticed as I shared the story's plot, are desire and discipline or restraint. As I mentioned earlier, she was tested and challenged by her feelings that fueled her desire to have an affair with her husband's friend. But because of knowing that it is wrong and knowing her limitations, she restrained herself from doing so. It was her discipline to herself that helped her overcome such feeling and desire. Because of this, she was able to live up to and keep her reputation as a respectable woman, which she really is. The way she handled her feelings and desire mirrors her identity as such. This is the reason why I love it so much. It is the kind that people should learn from and imitate. She was able to prevent herself from committing a sin, thus making her pleasing to God, and she even was able to keep her reputation being a respectable woman. Now, talking about the language, most of the story is written in narrative mode, following one of the character's perspective and inner thoughts through indirect speech. Dialogue is only employed when the protagonist talks to her husband, suggesting intimacy and conveying the way Mrs. Baroda interacts with her husband. So that's it. Again, that was A Respectable Woman by Kate Chopin. Thank you.